Hello, welcome, and thank you for joining us in this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gomansing. Top in this newscast, Government House on St. Thomas was packed with government officials, dignitaries, and the Virgin Islands' newest commissioners. The territory has officially sworn in the new commissioner of the VI Police Department, Henry White Sr., and additionally, Dr. Mercedes Dullum as the Commissioner of Health. Governor John DeYoung Jr. congratulated them, but added that they each have challenging times ahead. News 2's Alison Bourne-Vanek was at Government House and has that story.
Government House on Thursday was full to capacity for the swearing-in ceremonies of the territory's newest commissioners.
As commissioners, your integrity will be challenged. However, you must stay focused on doing what is right.
Henry White Sr. was sworn in first as the commissioner of the police department, and then Dr. Mercedes Dullum was sworn in as commissioner of the Department of Health. Reaching this moment involved months of gaining approval from colleagues, officials, and long Senate hearings. They each take over government agencies with a challenging workload.
The department continues to address the Department of Justice VIPD consent decree, now entering its third year.
We have many mandates that we have to do as part of our regulatory function, some of which like enacting our AED registry, all of the insurance that we manage, the environmental health. So just to give you an idea, if you think about it, health is very, very large.
Governor John DeYoung Jr. emphasized that the commissioner confirmations come at a difficult time in the territory, and difficult decisions and challenges lie ahead for each commissioner.
Revenues are down, we're trying to cut expenses, and we have to manage within resources that are very difficult. Not only am I pleased to have commissioners who have stood by me and made very, very difficult decisions, but to have two individuals that are willing to step in at this most difficult of times. Not a time that we're hiring, not a time that we're necessarily promoting, but a time when the community is demanding so much more from us each and every day. I will initiate a reorganization plan to utilize those personnel currently on board, as the current austerity plan will limit the ability for new hiring.
We are going to really work hard to try to pull everybody together to realize that together we can do this.
Each commissioner promised dedication and tenacity on the job, and that the territory needs that most of all. Alison Bourne-Vanek, News 2.
Both commissioners were nominated on November 7th last year and confirmed by the 29th legislature this year on February 8th. Protests continued Thursday on St. Croix, where the teachers' union took to the streets. More than a dozen members from the Department of Education's Special Services demonstrated at Five Corners, giving up their lunch hour to send a message. News 2's Erica Parsons has the story.
Psychologists, social workers, and support staff from the Department of Education sacrificed their lunch hour Thursday to protest government layoffs.
This has touched every sector of the community, from nurses to individuals in all different types of unions.
I show my support for everyone who loses their job. It's a sad situation in the Virgin Islands. I'm on the GIS and the impacting my retirement. I have a short-time vacation that I'm enjoying, and they're looking to cut it shorter than I want it to be.
Health and education are the most important aspects, I would say, of our lives. Being healthy and being able to be employed and have a great education that serves as a foundation for the rest of your life. And so when these two are affected, it's important that we stand up and speak out.
And standing together against all dismissals, they had one simple request.
We are quite upset, and we're asking the government to reinstate those individuals.
Organizers say they're also demonstrating in support of the students affected by the decisions being made.
This government is in the process of fundamentally changing education without informing the community. And they are trying to stop teaching certain courses within the educational system. And we think that this is wrong.
Union officials say they need everyone in place to avoid situations like this one.
We're understanding at one of the schools where a science teacher was let go. We have a paraprofessional serving in the capacity of a science teacher. If that teacher wasn't good enough to stay on board, why is it we have a para serving?
Union leaders aren't sure whether more layoffs are looming.
The only word I know about dismissals for the Department of Education is what the commissioner said at her hearing in the Senate that she cannot guarantee there will not be cutbacks in education.
But they will continue to fight with planned pockets of protests.
We will continue this fight to avert any further layoff, because it's an injustice what's happening to all our members, to the entire community.
I think that the dismissals have really affected people's morale and their feelings of security, and I think that generally it's a community issue, and anything that hits the community this hard will affect everybody across the board.
Erica Parsons, News 2.
Union leaders say they want to get all the schools and activity centers involved, so they will continue to have small protests at different sites. With all of the recent layoffs as well as HOVENSA's shutdown, what is the unemployment rate? The Department of Labor released the percentage, but say they are expecting an even bigger pinch. However, they say they are stepping up efforts. The VI unemployment rate is at 8.7%. VI Department of Labor Commissioner Albert Bryan says that rate reflects a slight increase.
That's up 0.2 percentage points from the previous month, December. We have not received the numbers for February as yet. The numbers in St. Croix ticked up to 9.6, going up 0.5 percentage point. St. Thomas went down slightly to 7.9 from 8%.
The rate only reflects the month of January. However, with all of the latest dismissals, more than 500, Commissioner Bryan says we can expect that rate to change drastically because those dismissals have not been factored in as yet. Bryan says staying ahead of the storm is the focus as unemployment insurance claims are filed.
We're trying to get a lot of the unemployment claims that are going to be as a result of the HOVENSA closure in before they actually are terminated. Once they're terminated, most of those people will have a planned closing check, and that planned closing check should last, we're thinking, maybe 2 to 3 months. As for the government employees, most people who have been dismissed or terminated have at least a check or two in the hopper. Once those have been exhausted, I think you have a waiting week. And then after that waiting week, then you too also qualify.
The newly unemployed rate will not appear until February and March's number, and HOVENSA's dismissals would not show until June or July. Bryan says the department is stepping up efforts to assist.
At the end of this month, you will begin to see a series of rapid response events. Actually, we've already begun. You're seeing the ones that are focused on the government employment. We've had one in St. Croix, one in St. Thomas, an additional one in St. Croix for the nurses affected by the Juan Louis layoffs. At the end of the month, we'll start to focus in on the contractors, and you will see us doing rapid response events for Wyatt, Turner, and all of the other small contractors at HOVENSA Refinery. We're also participating in HOVENSA's career fair this weekend. They're going to do stuff that's directed just for their employees to take care of their unemployment numbers and try to help people find new jobs, as well as brush up their resumes and give them career tips and credit tips on how to handle their money during times of unemployment.
The Virgin Islands Association for Independent Living hosted their annual luncheon for people with disabilities at the Palms at Pelican Cove. Organizers say they try to provide a nice outing with music and lunch every year, and this year they had 85 guests. Second Lady Cheryl Francis was one of the speakers for Thursday's event. The luncheon was also held to